Oh, that's a great name. Did you read the title? Goodle Pop. The locals are called Goodle Poppers, or just Poppers. Ah, world building. Hi, welcome to another blank page build here at the World Builders Library. Today, our subject is a small town in the heart of a big, stable empire. The biome Goodle Pop resides in is flat highland, a natural divide between several population zones within a single state. It's cold but passable in winters, sometimes getting a lot of snow, but that's always broken up by a few melt-offs. There is enough water for small towns and travel, but not large populations, even if that pop is poppers. The terrain is rough and wide grasslands broken up by hill country. There's almost no trees at all, but even the flats aren't really flat. Gulches, ditches, outcrops, dare I say, arroyos. They are all regular occurrences. There are wild goats, deer, let's say antelope instead, rattlesnakes, rodents, gophers and such. You can get bison and some megafauna if you want to throw them in, maybe herbaceous dinos. The big stuff will migrate, however, mostly coming in only during the summer. We should name this empire something benign but a little epic at the same time. Ooh, what about Rome? Oh no, it's taken. Wakanda? Taken as well. Rokonda? Rokonda. That's supposed to be a joke, but actually not bad. Sure, the Empire of Rokonda. World building! This is a spot on the map where a lot of roads cross. You knew something had to be here. If the Empire destabilized, the Crossroads would probably suffer, but probably not completely die. It might even thrive under the proper leadership, I suppose, especially as it starts exerting control over its own trade. I am picturing Goodlepop as a refining hub. Wind power sawmills turn raw lumber into linear cuts before shipping them farther down the road. Ore is smelted into bars before being transported. There is a water problem here, which hurts the idea of tanneries, so we might have to skip out on the last leg of the medieval industrial triad. Now, for some reason, I'm thinking this is a halfling-rich population. Even if you meld the sociable species, which I almost always do, you're still going to want to include little enclaves here and there. Small, isolated populations can't be overly mixed, or nobody is going to be able to procreate. The pauper hobbits... Poppits? Oh, we're on to something here. Well, they depend on travelers, but they're also not exactly looking for new residents. They need labor, but they're kind of squeamish about outsiders. Frankly, they've just gotten tired of the short jokes. In fact, telling a joke about short people around here, well, it's probably going to get you in trouble at the Crossroads. The town makes up for its labor issues through the enhanced use of unseen servants. That's not right. How about the extensive use of enhanced unseen servants? This is facilitated by the Tree of Invisible Limbs. It's an ancient tree growing near the middle of town. This confluence of magic causes all unseen servants within a mile to last longer and become stronger. Duration goes from an hour to a week. Hit points go to 5 and strength to 10. Just as importantly, they can be thrown into a job with other servants or biological workers and told to mimic. Hence, they can quickly take on somewhat complex jobs by imitation. In fact, every decade or so, one of these guys becomes permanent and sentient, creating a magicalness to the entire area, just piling on the magicalness. As a result of the local anomaly, the town has adapted over time, which gives us a custom background, the Goodlepop Merchant. There is a big call for local merchants around town. They sell to passing trade caravans and negotiate trade between them. They handle warehousing and work closely with the mills and the smelters. Ability score choices for this background: strength, intelligence, and charisma. Feat: the Goodlepop Magic Initiate. Skill proficiencies: performance and persuasion. Tool proficiencies: one kind of artisan tools. Equipment: alright, I didn't fill this out. You guys know how I feel about equipment. Starting characters, I suppose at first level it's a little bit of an issue. You shouldn't have all that much. But a lot of people start at 3rd level, and by that time, you've got the basics. So don't worry about it. Just give your dude some stuff. So what about this Goodlepop Magic Initiate? It's a lot like the other Magic Initiates. You get your 2 cantrips, but your spell choice, well, it's got to be Unseen Servant. To make up for the limitation, this servant is going to last 8 hours and move up to 120 feet away from the caster without dispelling. Now, what an Unseen Servant can do is pretty subjective to start with, but DMs and players should consider it to be about 3 times better than a normal Unseen Servant. It's still not intended to be competent in a battlefield situation or other stressful situation. Don't let your players abuse it any more than the regular spell. However, I might let it take a turn on the battlefield to occupy its own spot, making it difficult terrain for an enemy to move through, maybe a little bit of battlefield control. Now, if somebody does move through the spot forcefully, it's going to dispel, but it's an option to work with. Might give you an idea of what I've got in my head for how powerful it should be. Obviously, what's most important is what is in your head. All right, we've also got something to add to our religion, because we kind of been working on religion, right? So let me tell you a story first. A long time ago, I was driving through rural Arkansas and came through this tiny little town with a massive cathedral right in the center. This place was not to scale. It was weird. It didn't even look right. There wasn't a house around that was more than 3 rooms, and cloud giants could have lived in this cathedral. It was massive. And that's basically what I'm envisioning here for the Cathedral of Commerce at the center of Goodlepop. This place anchors the town like a Baalbek stone might anchor a canoe. It's been built over centuries, but still isn't as old as the Tree of Invisible Limbs. It's constructed mostly of stone, with the upper reaches and roof in wood. The church manages a great deal of the trade concerns in conjunction with the secular council of elders. Ranking members of the church are often on the council, and the municipality keeps an office in the cathedral. Sometimes this division of church and state is almost seamless. At this moment, though, the seculars control 5 of the 7 seats. This is mostly a policy divide thing. You can play it up as much as you want to if you're passing through or starting in this area, in this town. Usually the disagreements come up with the acceptance of new population into the town and how the town runs its own internal trade routes, as opposed to the non-locally controlled merchants who just pass through the crossroads. With the religion and the church and the temple, there comes a new subclass, the commerce domain for clerics. Now, D&D took a crack at this a few years ago via the Unearthed Arcana, and it seems like something that I should do here and something that I should do in general, because I deal a lot with eco gaming possibilities, right? I haven't worked this out all the way through. I am kind of stealing ideas from the old Unearthed Arcana entry, but starting off at 3rd level, the cleric will pick up the Sales Manager suite of abilities. The first one is Master of Languages, which is a nice can of worms, because I think a lot of DMs handle languages differently. Maybe it's just me. I do regional languages, so there's the potential of a whole lot of linguistic traditions in a campaign zone, as opposed to that little list in the I forget if it's in the player's handbook or the DMG. It's not a very big list. 20 possible languages would not be unreasonable, and that's going to balloon big time whenever the party can start to teleport around. Now, if the world is high development with a teleport network, there's definitely going to be a common language that will get you by in most urban areas. It doesn't mean everybody speaks it, but it means in every little group, every shop is going to have a common speaker. Every group of friends, every adventuring team is going to have somebody that can speak this lingua franca, this more or less universal tongue. Still, though, if you're doing diplomatic work, if you're doing negotiations, if you're doing haggling, you always are going to get along better if everybody is speaking the local language. All this means that I allow characters to learn a lot of languages, essentially unlimited number of languages, with time and effort invested. When an ability gives a language, I usually grant that ability to learn it pretty much instantly and fluently. So, Master of Languages. Character gains the ability to learn 2 new languages. This can be done instantly at the discretion of the DM or over a period of 2 months, and the character will speak as clearly as a native speaker when complete. Keep in mind, there is still the issue of dialect. It's really up to the DM how they handle this, but in most interpretations that I see, yes, you can speak very clearly, but it is still a foreign tone. But probably good enough for your best diplomatic efforts. Master of Persuasion is our second sales manager feature. It is expertise in persuasion. If the character already has proficiency in the skill, they still gain the expertise, but also proficiency in another skill, but from the cleric's list. For the spells that you gain, for the subclass, I went pretty much straight from the Arcana. 3rd level, it comes out to be Comprehend Languages, Unseen Servant, fitting, Calm Emotion, and Detect Thoughts. For 5th level, it is Tongues and Sending. For 7th level, it is Banishment. That doesn't make a ton of sense, but it's there. And Fabricate, which, Fabricate and then Creation at 9th level. I guess they were considered to be, hey, you can make things to sell them, but that may be something that changes whenever I revise all this. And then the other 9th level one, you got Teleport Circle, which does make sense. Even, it's a really good spell, but it does make sense. The 6th level is as far as I went. Not fully fleshed out probably, but it is the Divine Market. I did redo this. I didn't take what was in the old Arcana rules. It didn't seem very good. This is using a channel divinity. The character draws the attention of a crowd, making them automatically more inclined to listen to what you have to say. The effect lasts for 10 minutes, and during this time, any performance or persuasion rolls, you add your wisdom bonus. Individuals without urgent business elsewhere will be pulled in from a circumference of 100 feet, whether or not they are aware of the caster through normal senses. They are basically drawn in, and you have a chance to convince them of something, or sell them something, or talk them out of something, or talk them into something. I will add this to another project I'm working on, which is an addition of a whole slew of new subclasses, most of them specific to my Heston campaign. These guys will fit in with the nation of Trace Levon, which is basically a theocracy of trade. It is a very natural fit to my world. Other than that, we will leave it there for now. And obviously, I turn everything into videos. So as I work on this supplement, you're going to hear more about it. It's still very much in the rough right now. Now, throughout this script, so far, I've mentioned performance at least twice. This is totally calculated. The merchant tradition of the Crossroads is one of putting on a show. Some shoppers travel to the settlement not just for the products that are sold here, but for the presentation by the spectacular salesman. You'll have little shows. You'll have singing merchants. You'll have dancing merchants. They're going to want you to buy something, obviously. You are voluntarily letting somebody with a very high charisma talk you into something, but it's entertainment. It's worth it. Sure. And we do have time for one more subject, so let's talk about the specialized markets of Goodlepop. One way Rokonda maintains stability over such a large area of the world is its network of teleport circles. It means that otherwise isolated parts of the Empire, they aren't so isolated. Imperial forces can deploy low to mid-level fighting teams to any urban zone in a matter of minutes. Regular contact unifies culture, or at least keeps it from drifting farther apart. Acting troops and other performers aren't just regional. The rich and influential can travel without excessive planning. A day trip to ski in the mountains? No problem. A warm and sandy beach the next day? Easy. For Goodlepop, it means focused trade. They can scour the world for the best products and display them for sale in their shops. You don't have to search around everywhere for the perfect chair. Come to Goodle Pop's Furniture Emporium and we will have what you need. What the town has varies depending upon what's available, what's popular, and what merchants are currently putting in time and effort to update their shops. Today, the best outlets are a shop full of watches and clocks, a leather shop that includes magical armor with one-use spells embroidered onto the sleeves, and a pet shop selling various subspecies of pseudo-dragons and miniature drakes from all across the plains. In a year, it might be wands, hats, and spices. There's always a reason for a yearly trip to the town of the Poppits. There's always more to say, but I think this is where we're going to wrap it up. I got work to do on a script about world building religion. We're also coming up on Monster Week. This is the third year of the annual project, a unified call to RPG content providers to spend a week focused on a shared theme. We've done Kraken Week. Last year was Dragons. This year is Fae. You know what that means for me, right? It's time for the Dark Fae to step out into the light and meet the rest of the world. They're all looking forward to it. Maybe just a little bit too much. That's going to be at the end of April, so our schedule forms up to being something like Tenets of Religion, Eco 15, the Currency of Reputation, then the Dark Fae, which might get pushed from a Friday episode to Monday so it fits in the week better. That also means I'll probably do something simple and light for that Friday. I've gone a long time without missing a Friday episode. Although I did miss a couple of Friday releases, if that makes sense. So I guess it's all about the same. Just notice that the schedule means that Religious Tenets is going to come out on Good Friday. That'll be fun. Alright, enough rambling. I'm glad you could all stop in today. I always enjoy spending some time with each and every one of you. You are all important to this world, and I'm glad you're a part of it. I hope that you all have an absolutely great rest of the day. Cheers.